pressure goes, the more that happens. That's why we have to spend time grooving this in. Because if we go, okay, hey, the technique's not that hard. It's a fairly simplistic physical action. And you know better more than most people. And it still breaks down. So we have to really groove and drive that in. That's why you need the flight time. I can teach you the technique. It doesn't take very long to learn the technique, but the application under pressure, and the more pressure we get. And the one drill we're going to do before we break for lunch, the cognitive task load is really going to mess you up. The physical action is not going to be any harder, but the cognitive task load is going to mask that and interfere with it badly. Okay? So that happens when we've just got to keep hitting that, the basics. Again, that's why I cue on certain specific things, right? I go, this is the important part, this is the important part, this is the important part. And all the extras, yeah, whatever. But if we hit the important key components, the key concepts, we're usually going to be good regardless, okay? All right, so I'm going to do something real quick. So we harp all day on this idea of squared hips, right? Keep your hips squared. That's how I'm going to take pressure. That's how I'm going to give pressure. That puts me in the best position to fight back and to be able to move in any direction, right? And I called some of you on it where you were starting to blade your hips. And immediately you go, oh, I'm not as comfortable, I'm not as strong. The problem is, blading your hips is taught in most martial arts. For the longest time, it was taught in a lot of most police academies. Right? Called the interview stand. Keeping my gun away from the bad guy. Theory, it's awesome. In theory, it's a great idea because, oh, he's here, he's an unknown, he might be a bad guy, so I do this, and to make it difficult for him to grab the gun. What's the first problem though? What?
Give up the front leg.
Well, so especially if I'm doing this and I'm trying to protect the gun like this, what's this hand doing? Not protecting this. Great. You still got your gun. The CPU has been shut down because it's been hit and knocked out. You ain't using your gun. Now the guy goes from your unconscious body, he picks the gun out. There's nothing you can do. The most important thing, again, stay conscious and stay mobile. Everything else, gun, knife, whatever, everything else is secondary. You have to stay in the fight. So I have to maximize this protection. So that's part of making sure that I have my hands up. Blading. Yeah, okay. I protect the gun. Look, some of you already saw when you weren't squared up and you got that impact of that guy coming in, what happened? That is how you go to the ground. I am in the worst position possible to withstand that energy. Right? And we have to keep in mind, if I'm trying to get a gun out and I'm trying to protect it, if he's given me reason to go to lethal force, he's not just sitting there going, hey dude, what's up? Hey, he's not sitting there just going, hey, I'm gonna beat you up, right? If I can legally try to get my gun out and shoot him at that moment, is he just hanging out? What's he probably doing? Whether he's trying to grab, run into me, jump on me, start throwing strikes, doing whatever, he's coming at me. He's not like, I'm going to kill you. He's coming at you. So he doesn't have to be the trained guy, because this is always the thing that people say. Just blade real quick. So, oh sure, if you're a grappler, you know, hey, I'm going to go this way and I've got the bat. Sure, absolutely. But the implication is, oh, but the untrained guy is not going to. Really? You're in blading. I'm trying to kill you. Maybe I see, because you're a cop, and I see that the gun's out. And I go for it, and I'm doing this, and you blade. Oh. There was no active, cool, grappling movement. But I'm driving at you. The more I drive into you, the more I'm trying to do this, and you're bladed to me. Oh, hey, I'm here. You don't have to be the trained guy when you give up your bat. So, blading your hips, crappy to resist pressure coming into you. It is impossible to give much pressure. Like I said, if your car's out of gas, you're going to push it uphill 2 miles to the gas station. You're going to do this? No. Giving pressure is squared hips. And with the blading, you give up that pathway to your back to any aggressive attacker, regardless whether he's trained or not.
So, you know, a lot of the striking arts, they really seem to want to put you on that bladed position.
Yep.
And some MMA fighters are much more squared off than others. So you're saying it's probably just better to adapt to square off.
The problem, why strikers do it, because they're maximizing that reach. They're maximizing that. But what is off the table?
All the other stuff.
Grappling, right? I'm a boxer. I never have to worry about getting taken down. I'm a Thai boxer. You get the couple foot swing and stuff, but even if that happens, it's kind of points against you, but it's not the end of the fight, right? Most classical traditional martial artists, they don't have the ground element. So it's yeah, I can get away with doing this, and I'm trying to maximize this reach to keep my body away from you attacking, which is great, except I can't defend the takedown. To keep me from going down, I've got to then square up to deal with your driving in. And this, all it takes is a little bit of pressure driving in. I'm trying to do stuff. My head is past my tailbone. I am going to the ground. So it's great to learn lessons, what boxers do, or these kind of things. But what, again, context. What is their context? What's valid that we can take and what's not valid? And that's one. Right? That's why boxers, they look at MMA guys and they go, your striking sucks. Well, from a boxing perspective, it kind of does. But why do you not see ongoing combos in an MMA match? Where you go, bah, 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 that you see in a boxing match?
Taken down.
You get taken down after the first or second strike. On either side. Because now I'm at that range. If I can hit him, what can he do? If I can touch him, he can touch me. And if he drops his hips, we're going down the ground. So that's why MMA striking has evolved to a much more like single or double type strike. Because you're then going in yourself, or then you got to back out. So it's very specific. The game dictates the strategy. But if we're looking at all concepts, we're looking at everything, the awareness of being taken down, as well as the awareness of keeping the CPU working at all costs, takes precedence over everything else. Does that make sense? Everybody understand? There's nothing good that comes from blading. If we are within the potential of a contact fight, there's nothing comes from blade. If here, I can blade all day long. No problem. Because I got time. If we're shooting, I don't care, blade. Do your classical blading system. I don't care. It doesn't really matter. But if we become within this double arms reach at this point, it absolutely matters. Trained or not trained, the attacker trained or not trained, he's an aggressive, attacking guy who's already made the mental commitment to do harm to you. Otherwise, you have no justification to fight him. You have no justification to get that gun out. You have to keep that in mind. It becomes this very easy thing, like, oh, I'm going to do this, and I'll get my boom, 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 and he's just standing there. That's not. I've just murdered a guy.